Hi, I'm Bridget. Welcome to my kitchen. If you don't want to linger over meal prep but still want a delicious homemade meal, I think you'll love today's recipes. I'm making extra moist turkey burgers and 2 tasty toppings that'll make any burger better. I find ground turkey easy to work with and so versatile. The burgers we'll make today get terrific flavor from onion, garlic, and a few spices. To notch the flavor up a bit, I'll show you how to make 2 toppers, quick pickled onions and a creamy, oh so healthy substitute to mayo. I love the tangy flavor of quick pickled onions. There's none of that strong onion flavor and lingering heat that you get with regular raw onions. The onions need to marinate in a vinegar brine, so we'll get that going first, starting with half a cup of good cider vinegar and a teaspoon or a heaping teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of molasses, a smashed garlic clove, so just peeled and pressed, kind of squashed, and half a cup of water. We'll bring that to a simmer on the stove over medium heat. While the brine is on the stove, we'll get the onion prepped. This is a large, very large red onion. And I'm just going to cut it in half and then slice it thinly into half moons. I'm going to cut these into 1/2 centimeter slices. I don't want them so thick that they're not going to kind of tenderize in the brine, but if you cut them too thinly, then they get kind of stringy as they marinate. And I'm just putting them in a heat-proof bowl because when the brine comes to a gentle simmer, then we're going to pour it over the onions and let them sit for about 30 minutes. These onions store really well in the fridge, so you could actually make a double batch. I'll just toss them a bit to make sure none are stuck together. You'll know the brine is almost ready when you get that nasal clearing smell of vinegar. And it's just coming to a simmer, so I'll remove it from the heat. And I'm going to pour the hot brine directly over the onions, garlic clove and all. And I'm just going to toss to coat all of the onions and let that sit for about 30 minutes. But I will toss it from time to time just to make sure all of the onions get coated. It's going to look like there isn't enough brine, but the onions, as they soften, are going to sink into the liquid, so they'll end up being completely coated. We'll set that aside and get going on our burgers. Don't be dismayed by the number of ingredients in these turkey burgers. Most are pantry staples. There's a secret ingredient of sorts in these burgers, a little grated zucchini. It helps to keep the burgers moist and less dense. It's only half a cup that we need. I find that grating on the large side of a box grater gives the texture that I like the best. Next, we're going to grate half an onion. This is a medium onion, and grating it helps break it down more, so the flavors are going to blend well into the turkey. We'll just discard any of the bigger chunks of onion. I'll add all of our ingredients to the turkey and then I'll mix it. So the onion, the half a cup of grated zucchini. I have 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce and 2 cloves of garlic minced. I'll add 1 teaspoon of salt, lots of black pepper, about 1/4 teaspoon. And then I'm adding a teaspoon of dried oregano, a teaspoon of ground cumin, and a teaspoon of ground coriander. Now for the 2 teaspoons of spice, the cumin and coriander, you could add any kind of spice blend that you'd like. So you could use paprika and chili powder, or you could use kind of a southwestern spice blend. Whatever is your preferred or whatever you have in the cupboard, just add 2 teaspoons. And finally, 1 egg. We'll combine that with a fork. We'll want to mix it well so everything's incorporated, but I don't want to overmix it. I like to portion these burgers with an ice cream scoop. It helps keep them the same size so they cook evenly, but also this mixture is really tender. It's very soft, so it just keeps them in a nice tidy shape too. These burgers could be cooked on the barbecue, but you'll want to put them on some kind of foil, otherwise they'll fall right through the grates. Sometimes I use this exact same mixture for meatballs, just using a small cookie scoop. I'm just going to flatten them a little bit. I've got the oven preheated at 350 degrees and we'll bake these for 20 to 25 minutes. While the burgers are in the oven, we'll make a creamy feta dip. This is what I use instead of mayonnaise. And we start with 1 cup of Greek yogurt. I buy 2% fat Greek yogurt. You could buy higher fat. I mean, it has a lovely flavor and texture when you have a little bit of fat in it. To that, I'm adding 1/4 cup of crumbled feta. And just 1 tablespoon of olive oil. I'll add a generous pinch of salt, so maybe that's 1/4 teaspoon. A few grinds of black pepper. And a generous squeeze of lemon juice. This is the juice of about half a lemon. And I'm going to add a little bit of garlic, just a small garlic clove, and really you can add garlic to taste because it'll be raw in this dip or this mayo. You can decide how much you want. And finally, I will add 2 tablespoons of fresh herbs. Today I'm using chives and parsley, but you can use any kind of fresh herb. If you don't have fresh herbs, you could use dried herbs as well. Oregano would be a nice addition for this one. I'm going to combine this with an immersion blender, but I've also made this dip or spread in a blender and in a food processor. Whatever method you use, you just want to blend it until it comes together. If you blend it too long, it'll end up getting watery. This is so beautiful, it's almost frothy. I'll just do a little taste test to see if we need to adjust the seasoning. I know it's going to taste delicious now, but tomorrow it will be even better as the garlic kind of mellows into the mixture and the flavor of the herbs will develop a little bit more. I think it could use a little bit more garlic. And a bit more pepper. And a bit more salt. I'm just checking in on our onions, and they have softened nicely. And believe it or not, after half an hour in a brine, they've got a nice tart vinegary flavor. None of that harsh onion flavor. Our burgers have been in for 25 minutes, and I'm quite certain they're ready. Yeah, I can tell just from the feel of them. And they smell really delicious. I love how easy it is to fit vegetables into all sorts of things. Like zucchini in these turkey burgers, it helps to keep them moist and not too dense. Our quick pickled onions are delicious with turkey burgers, and they're great in salads too. You can store them in a mason jar in the fridge for up to a week. This creamy feta dip, or spread or dressing, is one of my favorite condiments to have in the fridge. It goes with all sorts of things. You can use it on salad as you would a ranch dressing. You could use it as a vegetable dip, or serve it with burgers. It'll last in the fridge for up to a week. I hope you enjoy today's healthy, flavorful recipes. Thanks for watching.